Hello everyone, welcome back to Age of Empires 4 commentary. I am Beyond, and as always, I haven't been saying this the past couple videos, but if you are enjoying the content, please do subscribe and like the video. Well, I haven't been saying it in the first part of the video, but now here we are. Let's get right into this gameplay after all that self-promotional nonsense. Today we have Liquid DeMu as the Holy Roman Empire in the purple on the bottom side of the map, and on to our left in the pink we have Louis MT as the Abbasid dynasty. Now, the Holy Roman Empire didn't have many changes at all in the new season. The Abbasid had quite a few, so we'll interesting to see if Louis MT decides to use those new and improved men-at-arms, the Ghulams, with that double strike ability, to see if those play a role in today's gameplay. It looks like we had a little bit of a mishap. It looks like Louis accidentally pressed the mine instead of the house, but with the quick APM, able to just half build it, slap down the house, and continue on rolling. Now, I will say one other shameless plug, and then I'll be done, I promise. I have been casting a lot of Silver League on my Twitch, so if you are not, please go follow me there. Trying to hit 50 followers by the end of the month. And obviously on YouTube, I'm looking for that golden 1K. Now, I'm going to be sticking around in Age of Empires for quite a long time. I've been absolutely loving the game so far. The Journey to Diamond with a twist will be coming back next week. And let's just talk about this matchup a little bit. How you guys feeling about the new Season 5? What's the vibes? How's the rank ladder kind of going? In this matchup, if I were to cast this between like at a tournament, I'd probably mention how the Holy Roman Empire and the Ghulams, they're different. They're different entities, right? The men-at-arms are just a little bit different in each way, so they're not going to be just pound for pound used against each other in the same exact manner. I have been seeing a lot more Holy Roman Empire players go for that archer build on the backhand side, which is, I know, is so weird, but it's one of those things where it's an easy counter. There is the Aachen Chapel. We're still not going to see any, not mine work. What's the other one? Oh, you know what? Forget about it, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend to try to remember every single one. And when I have these mental blocks, I'm just going to have to live with it as it's either mine work or Burgrave. I believe it's mine work, but yes, mine work is the forge. Okay, so I did actually get it. I haven't really seen that still come into fruition. It's still Aachen Chapel all the time. Now we do see the Econ wing, which is, I actually like this the best for the Abbasid, and here's why. I've been seeing a ton of military wing in the pro scene because the Abbasids really struggle with early pressure and dealing with it and getting early map control, so that military wing does give them that little bit of an early army to take a little bit of map control. But that being said, I feel like Fertile Crescent is the exact reason you want to use the Abbasid, right? Like it's almost like it's the perfect excuse as to why you pick the Abbasid. You get Fertile Crescent, and then you just start dropping TCs like they're going out of style. As you can see, we already see the stone outcropping being mined over here for Louis MT, so it looks like he is going to be doing exactly what I've been preaching. I will say a little bit unfortunate there. It looks like the lads are just going to go back to and collect them. There we go. Going to be doing exactly what I was saying, and it looks like also DeMu is going to be responding with a TC of his own on the other side. And I also have been seeing HREs going for a lot more 2 TCs as well, just to counteract the opposition that's usually the 2 TC builds. We've been seeing it out of Rus. We've been seeing it at a little bit of a mix up there. We've been seeing it out of Rus. We've been seeing it out of the Abbasid go 2 to 3 almost always. We've been seeing it out of the English. We've been seeing it out of China. The only ones that really don't go 2 TCs are the Mongols and the Malians as a normal baseline. And even then, they still do it. And the English usually get either a second TC with that Castle Age, or they get a third TC with that Castle Age. So it's really, honestly, it's kind of the meta at the current moment from what it seems like. You can just really have a more robust economy. It's unfortunate that these are... Where are you all going? You going to the berries or something like that? But that being said, if you didn't know, the little bulb is how you can tell. So think, if you see a little bulb up top, you think Econ wing. If you see a little crown, you think military wing. Spire is the cultural wing. And then if you just don't see anything popping up at all, you know it's a trade wing. But I haven't seen that in a good long time. we see another town center going in over here, which is, pretty standard, protecting that gold as well. And there's also a little bit of a stone outcropping, which I believe would be in range of this TC. But then we also see DeMu dropping that town center on the backhand side of this wood line. What I also like about this positioning is that this TC will also help protect the farm transition if it does happen, and this gold vein over here around the Akin Chapel. So it does a little bit of both. It gets him that early 2 TCs, but also provides a lot of nice protection. Now that being said, you're not going to be assuming too much that you're not going to be seeing too much the utilization of early aggression of the Abbasid, but you never know. So it's always better safe than sorry, and it's good to practice exactly even for every matchup and just in terms of your placement. So for all the lower level players, even if the matchup doesn't pertain to it, yes, you can get greedy in some matchups if you know there's going to be absolutely no aggression at all coming out. So maybe slap this on the forward facing D or something like that some players do. But if you're just going to go for the standard, it's always good to practice those placements on maps like this to show what you can protect the most. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if we see another TC coming out of Louis MT. That is pretty standard in the Abbasid gameplay. I've been seeing a lot of 2 TC Abbasids also go all in, so you never know. 2 TC into Castle, which it looks like we might be seeing here with this many villagers on gold. It's been becoming more and more popular, and honestly, in a new season, while people do want to climb, it's also really fun to try out the new things. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some mass Ghulams coming out of Louis MT. We have a wall up going over here to protect this back end side. There's also another gold patch and stone outcropping, but I'm assuming just to protect any kind of raids with horsemen, anything like that. We see the first men-at-arms for DeMu coming out and another barracks up front. So we might be seeing and another barracks. We might be seeing a HRE feudal push timing attack. It might not let them ding into the castle age, which actually is, if you don't want to deal with their men-at-arms as the HRE, just don't let them get into the age where they can actually produce them. So not a bad thought here from DeMu. We have the wheelbarrow upgrades and the double broadaxe on top of the three production buildings up front. This is the power of the 2 TCs, right? If it was only on one and you're going fast castle, you wouldn't be able to produce nearly as many, but this is pretty safe. Honestly, it provides a little bit of a wall off up front as well. And then on top of that, these men-at-arms are going to save about 5 to 10 seconds if they were placed back here, and it just makes it super easy to rally just to go straight ahead. And that's where they're going. They're probably going to be diving in on this. So the first man-at-arm has already arrived, has stopped this wall from going up, which is nice, and the scout over there is providing some nice cover. This TC is moving over here. Apologies if you heard that honking in the background. That was quite loud, honestly, for cars passing by. But as you can see, this scout's doing work back here, trying to take this down as quickly as possible. But in the meantime, it looks like the men-at-arms are finally meeting up. There's now 5 on the map in total. 2 more are streaming across the map. We don't have any more in production, but we do have 1 or 2 diving that food line. Now, it's one of those things where this is actually huge in the pro level of games. It's also huge in your normal level games, but it's even more important at this kind of level. It's going to lose one, unfortunately, which is super unfortunate. But that being said, idle time is a huge thing, right? There's a lot of idle time to move them from berries to over here, and also this is wasting up their safe food, quote unquote. This is the safest version of food they can possibly get. As we can see, the military wing coming out, so it does look like it's going to be Ghulam versus men-at-arms, which is always going to be a wonderful matchup. Now, that being said, we are going to get to see what we kind of want to see, right? We get to see that Ghulam versus HRE men-at-arms, who's going to come out on top. As I mentioned at the beginning of this, they're not the same unit, designed to do the exact same thing. The Ghulams also have that double attack, so against high armor, but lower base damage but lower base attack damage than men-at-arms normally, and they're a little bit slower. And as we know, the HRE men-at-arms are juiced with this little right here marching drills, 10% movement speed. Those have the Nikes on and they are flying around the map. It looks like we're getting even. DeMu is just using these to harass as much as humanly possible and trying to cause as much idle time as he possibly can. That being said, has lost 3 men-at-arms. But did get a lot of idle time, so probably still worth, and did get some good information. He was over here, the scout's over here, watching this complete in the backhand side. So DeMu knows that that they're going for that castle age, and as you can see, the regnance is going up as well. And LuMT is also very aware of that because there's a scout right next to it in the same vein. Now, the unfortunate thing for the opposite is that they are on a timed clock, right? They cannot really deal with anything besides that time clock for their age up. So this regnance, while it was placed down so much later, is going to be very similar in timing, just because you can really adjust how many civilian villagers are on that going forward. Now we do have the light camel riders coming out. They're actually pretty good in this matchup, especially if the HRE player decides to go for those horsemen, which a lot of them do in this age. So there's the archers, as I called. I'm just throwing it out there, as I called. We've been seeing this more and more, and they're the upgrades for the HRE men-at-arms. So we're maybe gonna see a nice long battle. There are the Ghulams, 2 and 2 more on the way. We have now spears coming out to deal with these guys over here, these little camel riders, which are looking nice. I cannot zoom in, which hopefully one day that will be fixed, because that would be very, very nice to have that. We see that all the upgrades are coming in for DeMu over here. We see level 1 range defense is coming in. We already have that for DeMu on the backhand side. Here comes the Ghulams, the double strike kings are coming in, and they're looking to do some damage. As you can see, ripping apart those villagers with one slice, and now they're absolutely going to cook these spearmen. These spearmen, look at how little damage they do to them. And even getting the archers involved, absolutely nothing. Finally, a valid competitor comes onto the scene. These Ghulams are making quick work of everyone, but these HRE men-at-arms are pretty tanky. 4 and 4 with a +1 range armor. And then these Ghulams have a little bit less juice. They're 4 and 4 plus with that 1. So it's very similar, but look at how little damage they take. The first villager kill is finally able to go down. Going to be losing another Ghulam, I'm assuming, because these guys are a little bit faster with that marching drills coming in. Let's see what we got on the backhand side. We have another archer range coming out. So we're going to be combating archers with crossbowmen. So very, very good. We see crossbowmen coming out for DeMu as well. More archery ranges going out. And the long chase is continuing for these poor Ghulams over here. We have... it looks like the adversary player is trying to start to secure some food sources out and about on the map, which is really, really nice. Is that a deer? Yes. So securing some deer. It looks like this prelate's going to try to make a cheeky escape, but this camel rider is going to absolutely annihilate them. And look at all the little butter knives coming out and be like, absolutely not. That is our relic. You're not getting anywhere. And that mace upgrade, though, is actually pretty important. I will say the wall is just to delay a little bit, but this camel rider will now successfully kill these off. These Ghulams are still got their Nikes on, and they're just cruising around. The men-at-arms with these maces are going to be pretty tanky in this matchup, and the Ghulams have found another villager kill, I'm assuming out on the map over here, and the actual armored force for the HRE is finally going to be moving out. DeMu just cannot leave these guys in the back of their base, so it does have to eventually chase them down, but it looks like this army is coming out for blood. 3 villagers have gone down, so really good for LuMT on this point. We see the Mangonel coming out as well, so this is a super even game. We're going to get to see what the crowd wanted, which is men-at-arms, HRE men-at-arms versus the Ghulams. The new unit versus the old kind of stock standard for what a good men-at-arm is. So we'll see if what we can play a role in. It looks like this Mangonel is going to get completed, but already going to be under fire. And it looks like it's going to get a shot off. Oh, there we go. All the villagers are pulled off. It looks like these men-at-arms, though, with these maces are going to be a really big pain. Some nice spreading out micro there by DeMu, and it looks like these men-at-arms are going to be able to almost even out the villager count and get onto this Mangonel very, very quickly. Oh, an unbelievable shot for this Mangonel, but it does eventually go down, which is super unfortunate. These men-at-arms are able to provide a very, very nice front line for DeMu's army, but the Ghulams are slowly starting to pick through with the backup of these other these other crossbowmen on the backhand side. But it does look like DeMu has the current advantage, 10, and there's There's a lot more on the way. As you can see, the purple dots running in there, and there's the keep drop. That's an early keep drop for DeMu. We love to see that coming out. There's two relics up front here. DeMu's going to want those very, very badly, and it's looking like this. If this keep goes down, it's going to be a very, very tough spot for the Absolute player to deal with. Louis is getting dove underneath his TC, but these men-at-arms are so strong for the HRE, and these Ghulams, there's just not enough numbers for them. They don't have enough to actually deal with all of this stuff, and it looks like Louis MT is going to be trying to match fire with fire, but gets absolutely annihilated by these crossbowmen and archer combination. It looks like the Ghulams were able to do some solid damage over here and really rinse these men-at-arms, but that was also with the help of these crossbowmen on the backhand side as they were killing off villagers over there. Up to 8 killed already. Another keep is going to be called, and Louis MT calls it GG. So it looks like for now the HRE and their armored units remain superior. Quality game by both players. If you did enjoy this cast, please do remember to like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And if you want to, I'll be streaming both days on Twitch this weekend of the Silver League round of 6. Thank you so much and have a great night.